Hey, it's Matt from Tradesman Digital Marketing. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through click-to-call ads. I'm going to go over what they are, the pros and cons to them, and essentially how to implement them inside your Google Ads account if you choose to do so. So first off, what is a click-to-call ad? And the first thing is click-to-call ads are one of two things. The first one being a call-only ad, which is an actual ad that pops up under the Google search bar. And this is what they look like. As you can see here, it looks like a normal ad. It doesn't have as many headlines and it's not as large as a normal ad, but it allows you the ability to just click and call the actual business you want to get in contact with, which is great for people in a rush. The second click to call ad, which you can use inside Google Ads, is a call extension. This pops up with a normal ad. As you can see an ad here, it's a normal search ad, but below it you have the call extension, which someone can just click on in a normal search bar and they can call you immediately and talk to you about whatever service they want to inquire about. Now, the nice thing about click to call ads is they're very quick, they're very efficient, and you can generate a lot of leads very quickly. The downside of click to call ads are you're going to bypass a lot of the information that may have gotten rid of people who aren't really qualified. So people may click these ads by mistake. They may not completely understand what they're actually getting into. So there is a difference. And generally, the longer you make the funnel, meaning if they have to click on an ad, then they have to go to your landing page, then they have to enter in their information, the more qualified they are going to be as compared to if you have a very short funnel. The only thing they have to do is just click on the ad. Generally, your quality is going to suffer a little bit. That being said, some of these click-to-call ads are absolutely fantastic. We've run plenty of call-only campaigns with tremendous results. Same as call extensions. Generally, they convert very, very well, and they are high-quality leads. But that being said, there can be quality issues at times, so keep that in mind. Now, how do we go about setting up click-to-call ads? And essentially what we do is we click on our campaign. So for this one, we're going to do pool installation. We're going to come over here to ads. Now, if you don't have any responsive search ads already in your campaign, they may not pop up, so you may have to add one. But that being said, call ads should pop up under this, and all we have to do is click on it and then add it to the ad group we would like to add our call only ad to. So for this one, let's do pool installation. And as you can see, it auto-generated all the information. So if you've already put in your phone number, your website, all of this should already pop up. If it doesn't, you can fill it in. For your phone number, you can put a forwarding number in here too. So if you're using a software like CallRail, you can put your forwarding number in here to track it. If you're not, you can just use your normal phone number and it will send all the calls to that. That being said, the next thing is the actual URL associated with your landing page. Now, this isn't necessary, but I do recommend it as it looks more professional and it allows you to expand your ad as well. And the bigger you can make your ad, the more likely it is to be seen, the more likely it is to be clicked on. So I generally recommend using final URLs, even though you're not sending traffic to it. They're going to be only able to call you. But that being said, it does make it look a little bit nicer. So I recommend adding them. The next thing is the actual display path. So as you can see under here, we have our domain titlepools.ca and then our display path, fiberglass pool installation. This part is actually customizable and I recommend customizing it for every single ad we do, just because that little customization puts you ahead of the competition. A lot of people don't take the time to do it, and the more customized and oriented towards the person's problem you can make it, the more likely they are to click on you because they feel more of a personal connection with you, especially if it's something very specific like fiberglass pool installation. Chances are the more unique you can make it to that individual's problem, the more likely they are to click on it. The next thing is the actual headlines and descriptions. For call only ads, you have a very limited amount of space and it's important to get these headlines down pat. So I would recommend putting your actual main keyword in your first headline, so fiberglass pool installation, and then the second one could be a call to action. Now you can change this and orient it and always test new things. I always recommend testing everything and seeing which one converts best. But that being said, you do have a very limited amount of space, so I recommend testing at least 3 ads, having them A/B test. After about a week or two, depending on how much data you're getting into the account, you should be able to figure out which ad is converting best and has the highest click-through rate, and then you can kill the bottom 2 or just the bottom 1 and test out new ads and constantly try and improve and get better click-through rates, which will then bump up your ad rank, which will then lower your cost per click, which then leads to you being able to get more leads, which leads to a lot more account success. So that's something important. Another thing I should mention about this is please try to max out the character limit. So for your headlines, you have a maximum of 30 characters allowed in the actual headline. So fiberglass pool installation is almost taken up all of it. Please try to make your ad as big as possible. Again, the bigger your ad, the more likely it is to be seen, the more likely it is to be clicked on, and generally that translates to success. You can also enter your business name down here and description line. So for this one, we have professional fiberglass pool installation, over 20 years of experience. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on this, I have a full-length tutorial on how to set up call-only ads. It goes into extreme detail about literally everything you'd ever want to know about call-only ads. So I'll link it up in whatever corner up here, and it should pop up. If it doesn't, just type in call only ads. It'll pop up on my channel. It goes over how to set up everything, how to set up the campaign, and I recommend call only ads be set up in their own campaign. That way you can segment them very easily, and it's just a lot easier to do it that way as opposed to trying to figure out which search ad is performing better than a call only ad. It's just a real pain, and I recommend segmenting the campaigns out. The final thing here is the actual conversion action. You can set this to calls from ads or whatever extension you want to set it to. It's really up to you. URL options you can add in your tracking template down here, and any custom parameters you may want. All we have to do now is hit save new, and our ad will generate inside of our campaign, and we're good to go. This may take a day or two to actually become eligible just because Google reviews every single ad, so keep that in mind, but our ad will be good to go. The next click to call ad can be accessed in the actual extension tab, so we have to click on ads and extensions and then click on extension. And the call only extension is actually really easy to set up. All we have to do is hit the big blue plus icon and then come down to call extension. So once we come to the actual call extension, we can click on add to campaign, account, or ad group. I generally recommend adding it to the account level, as most call extensions are applicable throughout your entire campaign for most organizations. But if you have campaigns that are going to be sending traffic to different phone numbers, I would recommend setting it up at a campaign level. I think the ad group level for most businesses is just too little, and I think it's overkill. I don't think there's much use in actually setting it at that level. So I'd recommend either at the account level, if you just have one number you want to send all your traffic to, or the campaign level, depending on if you have multiple services and you're sending them to multiple different call extensions. So for this one, we'll just set it up at the account level. And then we can actually select create new or use existing for this one. We have a few existing ones, but we're just going to create a new one for the sake of example. The next thing we have to do is actually hit our country. Please make sure you set your country up correctly. If you do not, you are going to get your call extension declined, and Google's not going to run it because it doesn't really recognize the phone number. So we're going to paste our phone number in here, and then as you can see, call reporting is turned on, so Google will take actual reports of this and understand how many people are going to click on this link to call you. So that's nice to have. If you want to set it up for a different conversion action, you can absolutely do so, or just use the account settings. It's really up to you. We're just going to use the account settings for this one, and then any conversions that come in will be sent to that conversion action. So we know where these actual calls are coming from. The last set of options here is the advanced options. So if you only want to set call extensions to mobile devices, you can just hit select preference, and it will only pop up on mobile devices. In all honesty, I leave it unchecked. Most of the time, we don't see much difference between the actual results. I prefer having bigger ads, and generally, even if someone isn't going to click on the actual ad in a desktop version, so they can't actually just click on it, your ad is still going to be bigger. It's going to be a lot more likely to be seen. It's going to be more likely to be clicked on, and I think that gives you an edge. So I like leaving it unchecked, but if you only want to show up on mobile devices, you absolutely can. So for this, I'm going to leave this unchecked. If you want to set a schedule for when this call extension could appear, you can. You can just hit the start date and end date, and then select your dates you want this to run on. I generally recommend, if you're only going to run things on certain days, doing it at the account level. I think doing it at the extension level is just too minute, and you're going to be struggling to go through all these like little changes and figure out what is running at what time. I think it's just a little overcomplicated, and it's going to take too long to figure out. So I would recommend staying away from that. If you're going to schedule things, do it at the account or campaign level. It's much easier that way. And as you can see, you can also set it for days and hours you want it to run. So maybe you have a form that you can take in any hour of the day, but you only take calls at certain hours of certain days. You could set that Monday to Fridays if you wish to do so, or 24/7, whatever you want to do. But again, I recommend doing that the campaign level. I think it's better that way. That's just my recommendation. So the final thing we have to do is just hit save, and we're good to go. We have successfully set up our call extension inside Google Ads. As you can see here, our call extension pops up, and we're good to go. So that has been click to call. We've covered the call extension. We've covered the call only ad. By the way, if you want to check out the call only ad, I have a complete tutorial on that. I also have a call extension tutorial as well, going into more depth on how to do that if you want to check either of those videos out. Other than that, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to answer them. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and take care.